Hey, what's going on, Marianas? Welcome back to another episode of Saipan Supplemental Gardening. In our last video clip, you saw us do seedlings and how to plant your seeds. Today, I'm going to show you how to transplant your seedlings. I'm going to show you two different techniques. One is just simply transplanting into a cup or into a pot or into the ground. A simple transplant where you don't really have to worry. I know a lot of people are worried about, oh, but if I transplanted it might die. I'm going to show you that, you know what, it won't. So I'm going to start off right now by showing you a transplant. Okay, so I'm going to be transplanting one of these eggplant seedlings over into a bigger cup. All right, why do I do that? Because I'm not ready to plant it down into the ground yet, but I also don't want the seedlings to get root bound, and I want to make sure that they continue getting the proper nutrients that they need from the soil. And they're running out of soil in their little seedling planters, so we're going to provide them with a little bit more nutrients in a bigger cup, in a bigger container. So by the time they're ready here, I might be ready with the area that I want to transplant them down to, or I might want to transplant them into a bigger pot. That all depends. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, this is just our regular topsoil that we collect. It's a combination of compost and topsoil and all kinds of stuff that we just gather up and let it rot for like months at a time. When we're done, we come back, we pull it out, and we get nice fluffy stuff. Okay, so again, when you do get the soil out, you got to be careful. There are going to be a lot of little creepy crawlies in here that are actually beneficial for your plants, but there also may be centipedes. So just be real careful when doing that so that you don't get bit, you don't get stung. I don't know if you're allergic. I am. You know, I get stung or I get bit by a centipede, and you know, I'll swell up. So I gotta be real careful. So again, regular styrofoam cup. Okay, this is, I believe, a 20 ounce, 18 or 20 ounce cup. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up with soil first, about halfway. All right, and when you fill it up, what you want to do is you want to try and compact it. All right. You can either push it down with your hands, you can tap it on the table, but you want to compact it just a little bit on the bottom part so that it will be able to hold its base when you water it. You want that base to be a little bit more firm. All right, and I'm gonna get one of these seedlings. And again, how do you get the seedlings out? You know, they look so delicate, and don't be afraid. On these little plastic containers, you push the bottom just a little bit, you push it up, you flip it over, and you let it slide right out. Okay, and that's going to be your seedling in hand. Again, with your fingers, you should be pinching the plant right in between your, not pinching, but just secure it in between your fingers, and that's it. Now what you're going to do is you want to take that and carefully flip it over, pop it in right in the center. Okay, make a space for it right in the center. Place that there, get rid of any weeds. Okay, try to stabilize it, get it centered, and slowly fill up the sides with soil. Tap it every once in a while, turn it around, fill up the other side, and that is pretty much it. All you got to do now to secure that is just tap it down a couple times, and you are done. You have an eggplant transplant. That transplant will last anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks inside a container that size, and then you're going to need to transplant it to something bigger again. Again, the one thing you don't want to do is allow the plant to get root bound inside the cup, because that will prevent the plant from actually, you know, growing healthy and producing good fruits. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to transplant, we're going to separate some of these eggplants. Now, in the previous episode of seed planting, my wife was saying there are times that she will plant 2, 3, 4 seeds. Why? It's because sometimes the seeds are just not viable. You plant 3 and only 1 grows. What would suck is if you planted 1 seed and that seed wasn't viable. So now you have, like, instead of 6 plants, you only got 1. So you want to plant a couple or so. Now, for the most part, what we do is I'll kill 3 of these and I'll leave 1. So if 4 grew, 3 of them gotta go, and I'll keep the strongest, healthiest one left. But in this episode, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you that you can split the seedlings apart, and they won't die. Okay, I know there's a lot of myth and wives' tales going on out there that, you know, you touch a seedling and it's gonna die. It's not gonna die. Trust me, okay? The one thing that you guys are gonna be hearing from my wife later on in another episode is the whole wife's tale about having a black thumb. I don't agree, and she's living proof, and she's gonna explain that later on. So, without any further delays, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to split up that plant, okay? Again, pop the seed out from the bottom, put your thumb up in the center, all right? And then flip it over, let it slide out, all right? Now, this is what we want to break apart. I want to take these 4 and make them 4 separate plants. All right, a lot of people say, oh, but if you do that, they're all going to die. I'm going to show you that they won't, okay? I'm going to put this on the side. I'm not very careful with it because I'm going to break it apart anyway. I'm going to put that on the side. I'm going to get the cups ready for them. And I want to share a little something with you guys that you're probably going to laugh at, but hey, it works for us. Now, we always said we use these foam cups, right? And a lot of people are saying, hey, you know, you shouldn't use foam because it's bad for the environment and da-da-da-da-da. Well, this is a foam cup that's about a year old. We've been using this for about a year. Let me show you something that's really old. This is a foam cup that we've been using for about 8 years. How do I know? It says M-Thai on the side, and this was the time that my wife was growing desert rose, okay? The time, if you go back on her Facebook page, you're gonna see that that was posted like back in 2014. Or 15, something like that. Anyways, the cup's really old, okay? It's crumbly, it's falling apart, and you know what? We're gonna reuse this and recycle this as many times until it just doesn't want to hold dirt anymore. Then we're gonna toss it out. But before then, we're gonna use the hell out of it. Alright, so here we go. Load it halfway with soil again. Alright, you wanna load that halfway with soil. Tap it down, get it compact. Now, here's the fun part. This is a very delicate procedure, okay? This is called the squish and split method. It's very, very hard. Pay close attention, okay? You gotta squish, and then you're gonna split. And now you got one plant, all right? Very delicate procedure, took me years to master. You might wanna practice. So, once you have that set, this is the hard part, especially when you got big fingers like me. You wanna try and get that somewhere close to the center. And you want to load that with soil around, all around. All right, once you get to the, hey, look, creepy crawly. Yeah, okay. Hold it in the center, and as you hold it in the center, you want to tap it down and get that soil to compact. All right. You can push it down with your fingers if you like. Just be very careful around the plant, okay? You just messed up a lot of its roots, so be kind of careful around it. All right, what's gonna happen is, in a few hours, this plant just might wilt, and it'll drop down to the side, and it might not look healthy at all, and you're gonna be like, oh, it's dead. No, it's not. It's recovering. What we're gonna do is we're gonna water this really well, and it's right now it's roughly about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're gonna water this real well, and then tonight, I'm going to water it one more time. The whole time today and tomorrow, we're going to put it in a shaded area. Somewhere where it's not going to get sunlight at all. But in a couple of days, we're going to take it out, put it under the sun, and it's going to take off like it's in a happy whole new place. All right? So again, reuse, recycle. Be careful with your transplant. Don't be afraid. If it dies, it dies. Make your mistakes now so you can start fixing it later on. All right, now after we're done, we're gonna load it here in these little Coke crates. I posted on Facebook, if anybody has these crates, I'm willing to get rid of it for you if you want to get rid of it. If you want to trade for it, I'll even trade for it. But I love these crates. I've had these like for years, way back when my parents still had a little store up front. These were the crates that they brought the Coca-Cola and all their bottled drinks in, and they converted into planters really well, and they hold these little cups perfectly, and they hold 24 cups. So again, if any of you have any of these containers, please let me know. I kind of need some. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and transplant all of them, split them apart, and then I'll get back to you. Again, we just pat it all down and it's ready to go. We put it back into our tray, and as you can see, they all look pretty healthy, okay? I wish I had a clock out here so that you guys would have seen the time lapse of how long it took to plant all 24. And again, don't be worried too much about it, because out of all of this, one or two may die, and that's okay. That's all right. You know, don't worry about it. Don't panic. You know, let it be. So you lost one or two, big deal. You know what I mean? Plant more, and that's why we always plant more. As you can see here in the 12 cells, one actually didn't sprout. Okay, and this had like 4 or 5 seeds in it, and it never sprouted. But out of the 11 cells, we were able to get 24 total plants. So again, don't be afraid in transplanting your seedlings. Taking it out from the seed cell, putting it into a bigger pot, or even into the ground. So let's say when this is about 8-10 inches tall, the roots are going to begin to get the cup will begin to get root bound. You want to take this out and transplant it into the ground or into a bigger pot. And again, don't be afraid to do so. You know, when you pull it out and the soil breaks apart and the roots are dangling, don't panic. Just put it in, plant it well, pack the soil down, water it. Okay. And whenever you do a transplant, especially if you're transplanting trees, I know a couple people commented, what about transplanting trees out into the ground and whatnot? How sensitive is it? It's not that sensitive. If it's been growing in the pot for a while, your transplant should be successful. The whole thing that you get, or the biggest thing you got to remember is try not to disturb the roots too much. Now, if the pot is root bound, like let's say you pull the plant out and it's covered in roots, then you actually need to disturb the roots. You're gonna have to like pull some of the roots apart and tear them up, so that when you put it into the ground, what will happen is those roots will automatically begin reaching out. So it actually helps the plant in that sense. So again, it's one of those things that you begin to feel along the way, and you learn along the way. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, you kill a plant. You know what? Let me know. If I have some seeds, I'll plant more for you. But don't let the fear or the fear of making mistakes hold you back from trying stuff out. You know, there's just a lot of room for error, and plants are actually pretty forgiving. You know, you take your time, you pay attention to what you're doing, they're pretty forgiving. And just a quick recap, 3 days ago you saw my wife Angel planting corn, the bantam corn. I just want to show you real quick. 3 days later, we already have 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 will be coming out. 3 sprouts are coming out from this bantam corn that she planted. So yes, it's that quick. I know the packet says 7 to 10 days and all. 3 days later. Okay, so it all depends. You got to make your mistakes. You got to figure stuff out along the way. Don't be afraid to do it. And when it comes to transplanting, as long as you're careful with what you're doing, you're guaranteed to be successful at it. Be careful with the roots. Don't injure the plant too much. You know, you saw that squish and split method that I did. I've got big hands. I didn't try to squish it. I just held the soil and it fell apart. Are the plants gonna die? I doubt it. I doubt it, because I was real careful pulling them apart, making sure that each plant still had its whole root stem. So, with that said, I hope this helps you out. If you can, please like, subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, and help us to grow more, and we'll see what more we can share. Talking to my wife Angel about it, you know, we do what we do on this channel to help people out and share what we know in regards to planting and gardening, and trying to supplement our diet and our cooking and our grocery shopping with the things we plant. We share what we share because of the fact that, you know, the more people know how to do stuff like this and grow their own food, the less dependent we become as a people, as, you know, people here on the islands, the less dependent we become on imports. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to bring back. And I remember growing excuse me, I remember growing up, the farmers market, yeah, it had a variety of things in there. Antifrica, Pangilinan at the time, you know, and all the farmers, they'd have their monthly meetings, and it was awesome. You know, they got together. It was a true farmers co-op. Each one of them, you know, they had an agreement as to who's gonna plant what. And then when harvest came, they all brought it to the farmers market, and it was beautiful. You had everything. So I'm trying to promote that, bring that back. I want to make sure that you know, we don't forget about that part of our culture where we used to farm and grow our own stuff. We were very, very self-sufficient once upon a time. Shoot, we were before Magellan came, but we can do it again. And again, we're not trying to make you 100% self-sufficient, because honestly, that's impossible for some of you guys. For those that have, you know, a very small yard, those that are living in apartments, being self-sufficient and producing 100% of your produce for your dinner, your lunch, you know, all of that, you can't do it. It's just not possible. But if you can supplement at least 50% of that, you know, with a few okra and a few eggplants here and there, that'll help out. That'll help out. You know, and you put all of that together, and in a year you see a lot of savings. So we're hoping that this will help you out. We're gonna have more episodes coming in soon. I'm still getting the hang of this whole YouTube thing, the video editing. I'm using my camera phone, so you know, sorry if the quality is not that great and the background is just like a little bit crazy at times. But we're hoping that we can grow and continue to produce more material that will help people out there with starting their own gardens. I know this is one of the times where, you know, we have the time to actually do it. So we hope that we can share what we can and get people to start planting and producing their own produce at home. All right. So with that said, stay safe, Marianas. Stay home. And until next time, be good.